about to tell you today, you, my audience of future healthcare professionals, might be a game changer. So hang tight and perk up. My call to action is for all of you to have better awareness of compassion fatigue and know what to do, read, and what not to do, social media, so you have better results in your lives. Let's begin. I'm VP of the Health Policy Committee on the Interprofessional Healthcare Students Association. As VP, we run an IPE event every year, and for the past couple of years, it's been centered on a critical and renaissance topic since COVID-19, healthcare worker burnout. Burnout is characterized as a reaction to chronic emotional stress and affects health and reduces the quality of service. Reportedly, healthcare workers are especially vulnerable to burnout. Burnout also causes absenteeism and turnover, lower productivity, and lower quality of service to patients throughout the healthcare system. In spring 2020, the rate of severe burnout in Canadian healthcare professionals was 30 to 40%. By spring 2021, that number was more than 60% in Canadian physicians, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. Now, we can't talk about burnout without talking about something else, compassion fatigue. The concept of compassion fatigue was coined by Joynson in 1992 to characterize a reduced state of capacity for compassion as a consequence of exhaustion caused by the contact with the suffering of others. In her TED Talk, Françoise Mathieu outlined several aspects of compassion fatigue. But one thing that stood out to me was the concept of a window of tolerance. Research over the past 2 decades has shown that people who had significant childhood or other types of trauma had very small windows of tolerance. Françoise outlined this in the story of a soldier she was treating who ran a red light and almost crashed his car. Because what happened was his limbic system told him you're in a life or death situation, because in the war zone you never stopped at an intersection, even though he wasn't in a life or death situation at that time. Next, so what about wide windows of tolerance? And a study done in Buddhist monks who were expert meditators with 10,000 to 50,000 hours of meditation showed that they had figured out a way of having this dual awareness where they can be present for you and they can notice what's happening and be compassionate, but it's actually not distressing them. So I'm not espousing that we all have 10,000 hours of meditation or completely avoid military service, but there are 2 things I think that would really benefit us to open our windows of tolerance. One thing we should do and one thing we should not do. First, what we should not do, spend our lives on social media. Multiple studies have found a strong link between heavy social media use and an increased risk of depression, anxiety, isolation, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. Social media may promote negative experiences such as inadequacy about your life or appearance, normalization of risk-taking behaviors, and can be detrimental to mental health. Claude Mellons, a professor at Columbia University, stated that although social media can provide important platforms for socialization and relationship building, they can also be detrimental to mental health. Now, one of my friends once asked me, Yiwen, how many hours a day do you spend on Facebook? And then when I asked him, do you mean how many minutes? He was shocked. Now, I'm not saying that we should all completely avoid social media and just do other things with our time, but I think it's important to be aware and think about how it affects our mental health and how we can better use it and only utilize it to our benefit. So if I'm not saying we should scroll through Snapchat or Bookface, as one of my previous great high school teachers would say, what would I have you do instead? Simple. Read. Reading is not only educational and informative, it actually actively rewires the connections in your brain, which translates to multiple mental health and wellness benefits, such as stress reduction, mental stimulation, memory improvement, better focus, and stronger analytical skills. Whether books actually have health benefits was also answered by another study, a 2017 study actually. And they found that after adjusting for almost 10 variables, the result was that reading books can actually lead to a longer life in which to read them. Now, what does reading have to do with compassion fatigue? Well, a 26 study found that the more names of fiction authors participants knew, and the more fiction they presumably read, the higher they scored on empathy tests. So not only does reading lead to innumerable cognitive and longevity benefits, it could actually improve compassion fatigue. So what's at stake? Françoise Mathieu said that if we don't, she realized that at some point, if we don't have compassion for each other, we're in trouble as a society, as professionals, and as individuals. So she doesn't think compassion is the problem, she actually thinks it's the solution. Likewise, I think that if we don't engage in self-reflection and metacognition, we are at the mercy of compassion fatigue and burnout if we don't think about how to prevent it and how to manage it in ourselves so that we can best serve the people we love and the people that need us in the healthcare system. As my favorite author, Robin Sharma, said, better awareness leads to better choices, and better choices leads to better results. I hope by listening to my talk today that you all have better results as you enter into the healthcare profession. Thank you.